Hello students, good afternoon. In this video, we will discuss the topic dual and multiple fermentation. We are discussing the types of fermentations. Basically, there are three types of fermentations as batch fermentation, continuous fermentation and dual and multiple fermentation. We have already discussed the first two types, batch fermentation and continuous fermentation. The third type we will discuss today, the third type of fermentation, dual and multiple fermentation. What is dual and multiple fermentation? Generally, the fermentations make use of one microorganism, which is called as production strain. But there are some fermentations that make use of two or more fermentation organisms. Instead of using a single fermentation organism, we use two or more fermentation organisms. When we use two or more fermentation organisms, the fermentation is called as dual or multiple fermentation. If two organisms are used, then it will be called as dual fermentation. If more than two organisms are used, it will be called as multiple fermentation. So, the fermentations that make use of two or more fermentation organisms are called as dual fermentation or multiple fermentation. This concept of dual fermentation or multiple fermentation has been commercialized for certain products. Now, what is the purpose of using two or more organisms and why not use a single organism? There are certain purposes for using two or more organisms. One organism gives an intermediate that is utilized by another organism to give the final product. Means, if our product is C and our substrate is A is first converted to B and then B is converted to C. In this case, A is the substrate, C is the product and B is the intermediate. We use one organism to convert A into B and we use another organism to convert B into C. Neither of the two organisms is able to give the product directly. It means we are using two organisms, but there is no one organism that can convert A directly to C. So, A should be converted first to B and then B should be converted to C, and for these two steps we are using two different organisms. Here the figure shows that substrate is converted to an intermediate and the intermediate is converted to the product. For converting substrate into intermediate, we use one organism. For converting intermediate into product, we use another organism. The second purpose of dual or multiple fermentation is one organism converts complex nutrients into simple form, which is utilized by another organism for growth and product formation. What happens in this case? We construct a medium containing some complex nutrients because these complex nutrients are cheaper and are abundantly available. So, using these complex nutrients into medium reduces the cost of medium. But the problem is that the fermentation organism is unable to utilize the complex nutrients. What should be done then? We will use one organism which will act on these complex nutrients and will degrade these complex nutrients and convert it into simpler form. And then our fermentation organism will grow on that by using these simpler forms of the nutrients and will produce the product. Complex nutrients are converted to simpler form. This simpler form is utilized by the fermentation organism to give the final product. The third purpose of dual or multiple fermentation is one organism produces growth factors that are needed by another organism. Suppose our organism production strain is auxotrophic in nature. Auxotrophic means it requires one or more growth factors for its growth. These growth factors should be supplied through the medium. Now, instead of supplying these growth factors to the medium, what we do? We add one more organism which will act as the factory to produce the required growth factor. So, one organism is added to produce the growth factor. This growth factor will be utilized by the fermentation organism and it will grow and produce the product. Growth factor will be produced by one organism. This growth factor will be used by the auxotroph. Auxotroph will grow and it will give the product. The next purpose of dual or multiple fermentation, one organism removes oxygen and creates anaerobic conditions, reduces oxidation reduction potential. And in these reduced conditions, the other organism will grow and will produce the product. One organism is added, the conditions are aerobic initially, the organism will consume the available air, the available oxygen and will create anaerobic conditions. Because the oxygen is consumed, the conditions will become anaerobic. And in these anaerobic conditions, our fermentation organism will grow and it will convert the substrate into the product. The next purpose of dual and multiple fermentation is one organism removes the toxic metabolites or byproducts produced by another organism. Our fermentation organism grows in the medium, but during its growth it accumulates some toxic metabolites. And if these toxic metabolites accumulate as it is into the fermentation medium, it will hamper the product formation. And therefore what should be done? We will add one more organism to the fermentation. That organism will remove these toxic metabolites or toxic byproducts and they will not be allowed to accumulate and thus the conditions will be remaining suitable for the product formation. Toxic metabolites are produced during growth. These toxic metabolites are removed by using one microorganism. The conditions are now suitable for product accumulation and therefore the product will be produced with high efficiency. The next purpose is one organism forms a suitable pH for another organism. During the growth of fermentation organism, acidic or alkaline metabolites are produced. It will change the pH of the medium and it will make the pH unsuitable for growth of the production strain. This excess acid or alkali produced will be removed by another organism, means it will be neutralized by another organism and therefore the pH will be made suitable which will allow the growth of fermentation organism to product accumulation. The next purpose is one organism produces a product that is useful for growth of another organism and prevention of contamination. The example given here is one organism is producing lactic acid. Production of lactic acid will reduce the pH of the medium and at this reduced pH of the medium it will allow the growth of yeast cells and it will also prevent contamination from bacteria. So product will be produced by the organism. That product will maintain the suitable pH. It will act as a good substrate for growth of another organism and it will also prevent the contamination. Operation of dual or multiple fermentation. Inoculation and growth of one organism followed by inoculation and growth of second organism. Simultaneous inoculation and growth of two or more organisms. Two organisms are inoculated separately in different fermenters and then the fermentation broths are combined. Means dual and multiple fermentation can be operated in three different ways. Suppose you are using two organisms, you can first inoculate one organism and allow it to grow. Then you inoculate the second organism and allow it to grow. This is the first way, that is inoculation and growth of one organism followed by inoculation and growth of second organism. Or what you can do inoculation of both the organisms simultaneously. Means you take the medium and inoculate two cultures simultaneously and allow the two organisms to grow. The third way is you use two containers, two fermenters. In one fermenter you inoculate one organism and allow it to grow. In another fermenter you inoculate another organism and allow it to grow for sufficient time. And after that combine the fermented broths together. This is the third way. The example of first way is inoculation and growth of one organism followed by inoculation and growth of second organism. The example is vinegar fermentation. In vinegar fermentation, carbohydrates are used as substrate. Carbohydrates are converted to ethanol, and this ethanol is further converted into vinegar. For the first conversion, that is ethanol fermentation, carbohydrates are fermented to produce ethanol. For this, we use the organism Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Under anaerobic conditions, Saccharomyces cerevisiae will convert the carbohydrates and will produce ethanol. This ethanol produced is acting as a substrate, and ethanol is converted to acetic acid, that is vinegar, by Acetobacter species. The conditions required are aerobic. The second way is simultaneous inoculation and growth of two or more organisms. The example given here is glutamic acid fermentation. In glutamic acid fermentation, we use a medium that contains glucose as a carbon source, and we inoculate two organisms together. Simultaneously, we inoculate two organisms. Both the organisms grow by using glucose. One organism converts glucose into alpha ketoglutaric acid, and another organism converts alpha ketoglutaric acid into glutamic acid. But they are inoculated simultaneously. They are growing together, and both of the organisms are using glucose as a carbon source. The third way of operation of dual or multiple fermentation, two organisms are inoculated separately in different fermenters, and then the fermentation broths are combined. Example is L-lysine fermentation, dual fermentation of L-lysine. Here we use two organisms. One is E. coli lysine auxotroph. That means E. coli that is unable to produce L-lysine. And the another organism is Enterobacter aerogenes. Now the pathway for L-lysine fermentation in brief involves the pathway like this. Substrate is converted into an intermediate called meso-DAP, and meso-DAP is converted to L-lysine. What happens here is L-lysine is under feedback control. Means if L-lysine is produced in excess, it will stop its own synthesis. And therefore, whatever amount of substrate you provide after that, the substrate will not be converted to L-lysine. Then what should be done for this? For this, we will provide the substrate and we will allow the substrate converted to meso-DAP. For this, what we should do? We should provide the substrate and we should allow the substrate to be converted to meso-DAP. Meso-DAP should not be converted into L-lysine, because meso-DAP in excess will not stop the production of L-lysine. But if L-lysine is in excess, it will stop its own synthesis. So here L-lysine is not produced. What is produced is meso-DAP. So in one fermenter, we will provide the substrate and we will inoculate E. coli lysine auxotroph. The substrate will be converted to meso-DAP. L-lysine is not produced. You have to add some quantity of L-lysine into the medium to allow the growth of fermentation organism, that is E. coli lysine auxotroph. In another fermenter, simultaneously we will inoculate Enterobacter aerogenes and we will allow it to grow. Enterobacter aerogenes will grow there. Now what has happened? In the first fermenter, a large amount of meso-DAP is accumulated, and in the second fermenter, Enterobacter aerogenes is growing. So after some time, we will mix the contents of both the fermenters. Enterobacter aerogenes is a source of enzyme DAP decarboxylase. In this case, it is used as a source of enzyme DAP decarboxylase. Because this enzyme DAP decarboxylase acts on meso-DAP and meso-DAP gets converted into L-lysine, which is our product. Therefore, Enterobacter aerogenes is used here as a source of DAP decarboxylase. When we mix the contents of both the fermenters, this enzyme is available now. But this enzyme is intracellular, means it is produced by Enterobacter aerogenes but it remains inside the cell. The enzyme should come in contact with meso-DAP, then only the meso-DAP will be converted to L-lysine. The enzyme should come in contact with substrate, then the substrate will be converted to product. And therefore, it is necessary to break open the cells so that the enzyme will come out. For this, toluene is added to the fermentation medium. Toluene will break open the cells. The enzyme DAP decarboxylase will come out and it will convert all the meso-DAP into L-lysine. So, a large quantity of product is produced. L-lysine production is under feedback inhibition. Excess of L-lysine stops its own synthesis. E. coli lysine auxotroph is lacking DAP decarboxylase. Therefore, it produces and accumulates meso-DAP but cannot convert meso-DAP into L-lysine. In another fermenter, Enterobacter aerogenes is grown as a source of DAP decarboxylase. And then the fermentation broths are combined. DAP decarboxylase is an intracellular enzyme. So, toluene is added to break open the cells to liberate the enzyme. DAP decarboxylase then acts on meso-DAP and converts meso-DAP into L-lysine. Thus, large quantity of L-lysine is synthesized. This is about dual and multiple fermentation. Thank you.